When the sun is not rising over the snow-covered mountains and with only a few hours of daylight, a spectacular phenomenon can be observed in the Arctic waters of the fjords of northern Norway. In October, millions of tons of herring migrate to the northern shores of Norway, leaving their feeding area in the Norwegian Sea to overwinter. This creates a rich feeding ground not only for commercial fishermen, but also for a variety of marine predators, like humpback whales and fin whales. Among them, you'll see the ocean's top predator, the orca. Welcome to the expedition Whale Sonic, a new approach to uncover the mystery of orca communication. Researcher Dr. Sjkervoy from the Neuroinformatics department at the ETH in Zürich developed a new way to study these intelligent marine mammals. With this goal in mind and a van packed with all the fragile equipment, he drove over 3,000 kilometers from Zürich to Sjkervoy together with one of the two skippers, Alexander Eckerle. A team of volunteering students and researchers from 7 different universities in Europe, as well as the German Primate Center, traveled to Norway to help with the data collection.
If I suddenly turn with the centrifuge force, you would be...
After arriving in Sjkervoy, the team received a safety briefing.
Close to the 100, do you hear me?
Then it was time to load the boat and secure the equipment. And head out in the early morning hours, looking for black fins popping out of the water in the distance.
Try to keep an eye on them.
Quick thinking and acting were crucial as soon as there were orcas in the area. 4 buoys had to be deployed quickly in the form of an array to start the acoustic eavesdropping on them. Attached on the buoys were tetrahedrons, each equipped with 4 hydrophones. When studying the communication of animals, it is key to separate the signals in a group of vocalizing animals to identify the individuals. This is the reason why it is important that the buoys are deployed as an array. After successfully setting up the array, it was important to do a clock shot.
I'm gonna turn on the engine.
Then the drones got airborne to locate the
I'm
orcas.
gonna go up. Cool.
Flying the drones oriented to north allows to pinpoint the location of the vocalizing individuals in an absolute coordinate system. In the beginning, it takes a while to find the orcas.
Okay, let's go to this one. I have whales.
But when you finally see them from the bird's eye view,
Get my drones.
it leaves you with a set of completely new impressions. You see them interacting with each other, changing formation or going for a deep dive. Unfortunately, there is no acoustic feedback on the boat with these types of hydrophones. But there was another bigger tetrahedron on board, which becomes crucial during the night shift. With these 4 hydrophones connected to a speaker, it was possible to check if there are any whales in the area and if it's worth setting up an array. In the depths of the Norwegian Sea, orca families communicate through a rich variety of clicks, whistles and calls. The clicks are used for echolocation to navigate through the dark underwater world. The function of whistles is still not clear, but for the Norwegian population, it is suggested to play a role during feeding and socializing. Orcas produce two different types of stereotyped calls. Monophonic calls are characterized by a single frequency component. They are suggested to serve as close-range intra-group contact signals, maintaining communication in underwater conditions with limited visibility. Monophonic calls may facilitate individual recognition and coordination within the pod, during social interactions such as resting and socializing. Biphonic calls contain two independently modulated frequency components. They may enhance the ability of killer whales to discern their own pod members and individuals from other pods over long distances, potentially due to their higher source levels. Each vocalization carries meaning, conveying messages of kinship and cooperation within the pod. Yet, much remains unknown about these enigmatic creatures. Expeditions like this are a logistical challenge that come with the risk of having an abrupt end, because equipment breaks or gets lost in the ocean. But because of the tremendous effort of Jörg and the team by fixing leaking or cracked buoys, the expedition kept going successfully. With this large dataset the whale sonic team has collected during 3 months, new possibilities of decoding the language of orcas are lying ahead. To give everyone an opportunity to solve the mystery of orca communication, the data will be published as open research.
I think that's the sort of fascinating thing about killer whales, is that we know very little about what their communication signals mean, and how it works, but we can see that there's so much complexity. We can see that there's very many different types of sounds that they make, and what I find especially cool is that the different populations have a completely different set of sounds that they use to communicate. We call them dialects, but you could also imagine them as languages, or maybe it's not appropriate to make parallels with language because it's such a completely different system. So we really need to think outside the box, and I also like how this kind of challenges me and my thinking about biology and evolution, because it's such a vastly different world that these animals live in, that imagining what they might be communicating about and how is really a fun challenge.
In this ever-changing world, with the help of new innovations and artificial intelligence, we might be able to gain more knowledge and protect animals and their habitats.